Hi and hello everybody, it's Fern. Welcome back to another planty video. Thank you so much for joining me. So I thought in the spirit of spring, I would put together a video where I talk about 10 of my favorite flowering plants. I am such a bloom girly. I didn't used to be. I used to pretty much only grow plants for their foliage, even things like Hoya, where a lot of people prefer to grow them for the flower. I was just really getting them for the foliage. But now I've completely changed my mind. I love flowering plants. I really want to bring more of them in my collection. And yeah, I just have such an appreciation for them. I think that they bring so much whimsy and happiness into the home. So I'm really excited to share some amazing options that maybe you could bring into your houseplant collection as well. Before we begin, I wanted to show you my Hoya Nuna. She is not on my list. This actually just bloomed for me for the very first time. So I wanted to just show you before we start because this flower just opened last night, or flowers rather, and they're so cute. Oh, it's hard to show Hoya flowers sometimes because they point downwards. So if it's a trailing plant, it's more difficult. Okay, look at those. So pretty. I love them so much, and I don't have many yellow Hoya flowers in my collection. So yeah, that's really sweet. I think that Hoya Nuna also comes in a pink variety, and normally pink flowers are my absolute favorite, which I'm sure you'll notice from the plants on this list, but it is kind of refreshing and fun to have the yellow option. I think I might actually prefer this yellow, and it's also perfect for the spring. So yeah, very cheerful, and I just wanted to share that. All right, so the first one on my list is probably some of the most spectacular flowers that I have ever experienced. And yeah, this honestly might be my #1 favorite flower in my whole collection if I had to choose just one. I could not believe it. I was mind blown when this bloomed for me last spring. My fingers are really crossed I'm gonna get flowers again this year, but I don't know if I will. I don't see anything happening yet. But this is my Bulbophyllum longissimum, which is a type of orchid. Now, I was completely new. I had no idea what I was doing when I ordered this last year, or did I get it at the end of 2023, I think? And then it bloomed for me in April of 2024. So almost exactly a year ago. So, I mean, it doesn't look promising that blooms are gonna happen this year for me because I feel like I would already see them forming, but maybe they could come later in the year. I don't know. Anyways, I will have the blooms on the screen here. They are these incredible, super whimsical, long, drapey, hanging pink blooms. They're striped. To me, they look like fish that are like dangling by the mouth or something, like a group of them, which is kind of weird, but I mean, it just looks so otherworldly. It's incredible. I highly, highly recommend this orchid if you are looking for one that has just really standout blooms. This has been really easy care for me since I've had it as well. Like I said, I'm completely new to orchids. This is the only Bulbophyllum orchid that I have in my whole collection, and it's just been chilling. I do keep it in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet here, and it's clipped on the side of the grid, so it does hang pretty close to the grow light. And yeah, I don't know. I've just been kind of rolling with the punches for this one, and it's been doing well. So that's a good thing. I actually don't see these for sale super often. More commonly, I see the, oh, what's it called? Like Anne something, the hybrid one. Anne Elizabeth? I don't know. There's one that is a hybrid of this one and a different orchid, and it has a similar kind of looking flower, but I still think that this one is way cooler, and if you like the look of these flowers, I would hold out and try to find this one specifically because it's just, I don't know, I think it's worth it. It's so incredible, and yeah, like I said, I just feel like this is the coolest flower I've ever grown before. And I really hope that it's gonna flower for me again sometime soon because it was just such a magical thing to witness. But yeah, highly recommend this one. Did I say I got it from Crystal Star Nursery? That is where I found it. And they're actually gonna be starting their shipping season again if you're in Canada, so keep your eye out. Okay, next on my list is holiday cactus in general. This is my pride and joy, my favorite holiday cactus. This is a variegated Thanksgiving cactus, and I think that this is so fun because it's a twist on a super common plant that we see all the time. but it's variegated and it's so beautiful. Like the variegation is really, really pretty. There's different shades of green and lots of white as well. It is just gorgeous. I actually just sprayed her down this morning, gave her a nice clean, getting her ready for the growing season. She's got lots of new growth coming out. You can see the baby leaves come out like that, like little chain links. I love the way that jungle cactus grow. All of them, they just grow so cool. Here's some really nice variegated pieces coming out over here. Yeah, it's just a stunning plant, even without the flowers, but this puts out beautiful, just incredible. I feel like I've said this in so many videos, but Thanksgiving cactus was actually one of the plants that got me into houseplants. I was so just shocked when mine bloomed for the first time. I just had a regular green one from the grocery store, and I was not expecting the blooms to be so immaculate. But they are, and yeah, it's just beautiful. Obviously these usually bloom in the fall time around Thanksgiving, but they can also bloom in the spring. They can bloom whenever, really. Thanksgiving is just kind of the rough timeline where their bloom cycle tends to be triggered because of the lower temperatures and the longer periods of darkness that will encourage them to put out blooms, but they can also bloom at other times of year as well. And then there's also Easter cactus and Christmas cactus, which I have, but they haven't bloomed for me yet. They are growing though, so maybe later this year they will, I don't know. This one is just basically here to represent all holiday cactus because I think that the flowers are just some of the most stunning out of any of the plants that I grow. They come in different colors as well. I have pink, like I said, but you can get orange, yellow, white, red. They're really beautiful and super easy to find. Not the variegated one. People ask me all the time where I get this, and I wish that I had like a solid place to recommend people, but I just got this through a trade a couple of years ago now, luckily. But yeah, just a really cool one, and I feel like holiday cactus are often overlooked because they're just like common grocery store plants, but I do think that they have just incredible blooms. Oh yeah, also I give this bright indirect light. I know that that sounds so vague, but it sits, if you know the layout of my plants, it sits on my caudex shelf, so it's pulled several feet back from a south window. It gets some direct sun, but not a lot. It's mostly just ambient indirect light, and it seems to really like that. I have my other pot of holiday cactus right hanging in my south window. I might have to end up moving that as it gets warmer and sunnier. We'll see how it does. But yeah, in general, they're really easy to care for. Okay, next we have this guy right here, which is actually starting to grow a ton. I feel like now that the weather's warming up and the days are getting longer, it's kind of taking off for me. This is my rat tail cactus. This also bloomed for me last spring, but I don't see any signs of flower this year, so we'll see if that ends up happening later on for me. But this is one of my favorite types of cactus to grow. I love trailing plants, and this just has like really long rat tail little, I don't even know what these are called, tendrils that hang down. It's such a cool and unique plant, and it also puts out a spectacular pink flower. The flower is actually kind of similar to the holiday cactus, to the Thanksgiving cactus that I just showed you. So it's already just an eye-catching, incredible flower, but I think that that paired with the, just like how thin and delicate the, I don't know what to call this. Leaf sounds wrong, but just how thin and delicate this plant is, and then just to have a big showy flower coming off of there, it's just, yeah, it just looks incredible. And again, it is like a bright hot pink, and I just remember when this was in bloom last year, it totally just brightened my day every time I saw it hanging in the window. Just this beautiful pop of color, so fun. This hangs in my south window, so it gets a lot of light, although I am in the Pacific Northwest, so it would probably prefer more light in the winter time. But I actually don't do anything special to overwinter this. I don't give it a grow light. Oh my gosh, I don't give it a grow light or anything. Oh yeah, this is definitely a fresh growth coming in here. I don't do anything special for it over the winter, so perhaps it would be happier if I did, but I don't know, I haven't ventured down that road yet. But yeah, this is just one of my favorite, not only hanging plants, but favorite cactus and favorite flowering plants. So I feel like it really has a lot to offer. I might try upping the fertilizer a little bit now that we're in the spring. I typically use the Schultz cactus fertilizer for my cactus and succulents, so I might try giving that a little bit more frequently and see if I can trigger some blooms, because yeah, that would just make me so happy. Okay, this is kind of hilarious because I basically just have an empty pot to show you, but I have to include this one because it is just not only one of my most unique plants, but of course, some of my favorite flowers. So this is my Syningia leucotricha. Now this is a caudex plant, so it basically dies back every winter. I cut off the just like weird decrepit looking older leaves, and then it will completely regrow. So if you look closely, you can actually see the tufts of plant that are gonna regrow. They basically just look like little fuzzies. I don't know if it's gonna focus, but it's definitely started to wake up, which is cool. I documented its growth last year when it came back in, and I'm doing the same this year. So I will definitely post that as a reel. Maybe I'll do a YouTube short as well so that y'all can see on here. But yeah, this plant is just incredible. It has the fuzziest, like they literally are like an animal. The leaves are so fuzzy and hairy. They're so unique. One of the just weirdest plants in my collection, and I love it. So not only do you get those incredible leaves, but it also puts out these like fluorescent orangey pink, I guess the coral kind of color flowers that look like little trumpets or bells, or I don't know, they're just incredible. They stay for a while, the flowers will eventually die off, and then it will keep the foliage until the next winter where the cycle repeats. And it's such a fun plant to grow because of that. And you know, before, or when I first got into plants, I wasn't really drawn to caudex plants or really any plant that had a dormancy cycle. Like I was just kind of like, oh, that's boring, because then you have just an empty pot for part of the year. But honestly, this is one of the plants that brings me the most excitement every spring when it starts to grow back. I think it's so fun to witness that cycle, and really just adds something to look forward to and some interest in my plant collection, something that's just really different in a lot of ways. So I highly recommend this one, not only for its stunning blooms and its super cool leaves, but just for its unique growth cycle. Okay, my coffee maker is making noise now. But when it's in this kind of stage, I still water it, but just not super often. And it's just been hanging out on my south window. I'm trying to give it lots of sun to really promote that regrowth. But yeah, I'll definitely keep you guys updated on this one because it's just so fun. That one is also from Crystal Star Nursery. They are such a great nursery to find just more obscure and interesting plants. I can't wait until they're open for the shipping season again. Even though I'm not supposed to be buying plants, I might have to treat myself to a couple. Okay, I didn't want to make this whole video about Hoya flowers when I certainly could have, because I love Hoya flowers and I have a lot of Hoya, but I did add a few of my favorites onto this list, and the first one is Hoya David Kamingii. Now this one, I'm just always talking about it because this was not on my radar at all until I just randomly got it at, I think, the end of 2023. And yeah, I feel like more people need to know about it. More people need to be growing these and talking about them. So that's why I'm always just keen to tell y'all about it. But yeah, this is my Hoya David Kamingii. First of all, the leaves are beautiful. I feel like mine has started looking really lush. Part of it's climbing, which I really love. Oh, has another peduncle up here too. Oh my gosh, I love this Hoya so much. Oh, that is so exciting. I already have 2 peduncles that have bloomed for me this spring down in the hanging part, but now I just noticed a new peduncle up here. It's very fresh, so I don't think it's gonna bloom anytime soon, but I don't know if you'll be able to see it's right there. Still cool that it's there. So yeah, it has these beautiful kind of elongated leaves, and it gets a bit of a darker border as well, which is kind of fun. I don't know how well you'll be able to see the leaves. I know it's kind of moving around, but obviously the reason that I love this Hoya so much is because it has these beautiful pink flowers. Let me try to give you a better look here. Oh, it's not gonna want me in there. Oh my gosh, these are hard to show. Oh, there we go. I tapped the screen with my nose to focus it. So they're these cute pink, fuzzy, and yellow. This is a horrible description. You can see them. They're stunning. Pink and yellow and fuzzy. I feel like they're the perfect size. They're not huge, but they're not tiny. Yeah, they're just beautiful. Now, my dream is to have this plant flower multiple clusters of these at once and just have this plant like covered in multiple flowers. I think that that would just be so pretty. And I feel like I'm well on my way because this isn't even like a massive, I mean, it's definitely a fast grower. It's getting more established, but it bloomed for me straight away. Like within the first less than 6 months of having it, it bloomed for me. And then, and it's just been pushing out foliage. Oh my gosh, there's another peduncle too at the bottom. You guys, if you want a blooming Hoya that puts out these stunning pink flowers, you need to get one of these. I don't know if you'll be able to see the peduncle at the very, this camera is sick of me. Okay, you can't see it, but it's there, trust. Anyways, I could truly, oh my gosh, there's another one. Okay, I'm done. We need to put this plant away because I'm just gonna keep going crazy for it. Yeah, one of my favorite flowers, one of my favorite Hoya, and I highly recommend. This hangs in my south window, by the way, loves the light, and I feel like that definitely plays a part in just how many flowers I'm getting. Okay, I'm sure many of you will not be surprised at me mentioning pinguicula because I'm obsessed with pinguicula. I love them so much, and they put out adorable flowers. As you can see here, Exhibit A. This is my pinguicula goldeneye. It puts out this like buttercream yellow. This one actually looks a little bit, oh no, it is definitely yellow. It looked white on the camera. Yeah, it does look pretty white on the camera, but in person it's a light yellow. It's so cute, again, perfect for spring. And I actually bought, so you can see it right here. That's what the actual plant looks like. Oh my gosh, fighting with my camera today to focus. There we go. That's what the actual, so it's just like a cute little compact pink and it puts out this stunning flower. Anyways, I bought that one for the flower because I didn't have anything like this in my collection, this like light yellow kind of bloom. So I bought it just for that, and it's basically been continuously flowering for me, which is really exciting since I bought it for the flower. I actually have another ping in here that is, when you touch them, they're greasy, so gonna try not to, but there's a flower that's just about to emerge from there as well. I think that that's maybe an Ignata hybrid. I don't know. I feel like the IDs are just getting lost now that I'm kind of dividing them a lot and planting them in different containers and stuff. I can't keep track anymore. This one I obviously know because the bloom is different than the rest. But they all do flower and they all do have different colored flowers. This one is going to be like a purpley pinky color. They also turn different colors foliage wise as well. I mean, you can see this one has some pink on it, but when you give them higher light, they can turn completely pink, completely purple, depending on the variety or the species. And they're just so cool. I love them so much. I'm always trying to sell people on pinguicula because I just think that they're these super cute like fairy plants. They're so dainty and whimsical and just super up my alley. I have a whole video where I made this pingdom with the raw pumice rock. And yeah, I love them so much. I love all of the flowers. They're just such cheerful, like really low maintenance plants as well, which is nice. So yeah, highly recommend pings. If you haven't added one to your collection yet, just try one out. You will fall in love with them, especially when they shoot out the adorable little flowers. Okay, the next plant I have to show you is my Stopelia. I actually have two different varieties. This is technically the grandiflora. Wait, no, this is the Gigantea, but I also have the grandiflora, which is the one that is blooming for me all the time that I post about on Instagram and stuff. But they both have these crazy starfish looking flowers. They're known to be really stinky. I always get so many questions about if they're stinky or not. And I mean, if you smell it close up, it's stinky, but I've never had mine like, I've never walked by it and smelt it or something like that, you know what I mean? But I've never had the plant like covered in flowers before either. So maybe if I had multiple flowers, it would be stinky. I don't know. I'll keep y'all posted. If it becomes stinky one day, I'll tell you. But anyways, this is the Gigantea. I just grabbed this one to show you. The foliage looks the same, like the growth looks the same. on both varieties. This one is just smaller and easier to grab and show you, so that's why I'm holding this one up. But Stapelia are just such interesting plants, interesting like succulent type plants. They look like cactus, but they are a type of succulent, and I actually really like the foliage on these because it's just, well, it's very interesting looking. First of all, it looks kind of spiky, but they're not. They're nice and soft, and they're actually fuzzy. Like, they have a fuzzy layer on them. They feel almost like silky or something, and I was very surprised when I first felt one of these, so I always like to mention that because I don't think you can tell by looking at it how soft and silky they are, but they really are, and I really appreciate that about this plant. They also just have a cool growth habit. Like, look at how just crazy it looks. It looks like it's like dipping out of the pot. It's just really cool. These grow really well for me, even just under my Barina grow lights. I overwinter them just under those regular 10-watt grow lights, which is not a lot of power for, you know, a succulent type plant, but they seem super happy under there, honestly. And they even bloom. My other one, the grandiflora, that one is always blooming for me under those lights as well as outside, which is where it lives in the summertime. I'm really hoping that this is going to be the year I get a flower on this one, because it's supposed to be just like really big, and I think a different color, like a more yellow color. And yeah, I'm just really curious to see that. So we'll see how it goes for me this summer. But yeah, I think that Stapelia are just, they're so interesting. Like, if you like flowering plants, and especially if you're into succulents or cactus, I think that they're such a good one to get just because of how unique and strange the flowers are. Like, they straight up look like something out of Stranger Things, but they're also just, they flower all the time. So they're very rewarding to grow. Like my other one has just, it's flowered constantly for me for years now. So yeah, they're just really cool. Highly recommend them, and I will update y'all when the Gigantea decides to bloom for me as well. Okay, now this is a big one, and she's very chaotic looking. I talked about starting this over, like taking cuttings and starting it over, and a lot of y'all were like, no, don't do that. So I didn't, and she's still just growing and being wild. This is my Ludisia discolor. There's actually two varieties in here, but just like the regular Ludisia discolor, this one that's like almost black with the pink stripes is my favorite, and that's what this is mostly is as well. There's this other variety in here which is like more of a dark green just with like a silver stripe, but I don't like it as much. So anyways, this gets featured in a lot of different categories. I think I featured it in my low light video, in my goth plant, like dark foliage video, and now we're gonna be talking about her briefly again today in the flowering category, because she puts out, as you can see, these beautiful, let me try to get out of here so it'll focus. Oh my gosh, go this way. Yeah, there we go. These beautiful white flower spikes. So cheerful and such a beautiful contrast compared to the dark foliage as well. She does have some that are spent that I need to chop off soon here. This one is almost gone. But this plant has been blooming for me since December, and that's one of the things that I love about her, is that this is a winter bloomer, so she will bloom in December, January kind of time. And it's such a nice thing to have a plant come into flower in the middle of the winter. It's a really nice kind of winter pick-me-up and something to look forward to again in my collection, because most of my other plants aren't blooming at that time, but this one is. So I just think that that's so cool. It's also a really low maintenance plant. Like I said, it was featured in my low light video, so it doesn't need a ton of light. It used to sit here for a long time. It used to just grow here on my Millspo cabinet and kind of get this ambient indirect light. But I ended up recently moving this onto my Visto shelf because I redid that whole plant shelf to be a certain kind of vibe, and I felt like it really suited. So it now lives on there because I'm wanting a lot of just different kind of flowering and interesting plants, and kind of just like full plants and wild looking plants growing on there. So she has a new spot on there for now, at least. It's definitely like kind of even outgrowing that shelf. But yeah, this is just such a cool plant. Love the flowers, love that it's a winter bloomer, and I feel like it's just a staple in my flowering plant collection. I'm sure that some of y'all saw this coming. Oh, This is my massive Hoya Whimsical. This thing has just gone on turbo mode. Oh my gosh. First, I was growing it in my south window, and it ended up growing like crazy there. And then I moved it into this Wally grow planter, and now it hangs on the wall in the bedroom, and it gets light from a Soltec Highland light, so it gets like consistent bright light now, smacking me in the face, and it loves it. So it's just been growing a ton. But of course, I'm not here to talk about the foliage. This Hoya really took me by surprise and became one of my top favorite Hoyas because of its pink fuzzy blooms. Now, like I said, I love a pink flower. I love a fuzzy flower, okay? And for some reason, I was growing this plant for years before I even realized what the blooms looked like, because it had never flowered for me before. It was kind of a neglect plant that was always just kind of like there in my collection, but I didn't really prioritize. It always just got like shoved into a dark spot, and it just kind of got by, but it never really thrived. And then one day I learned how beautiful the blooms are, so I started taking care of it, and I gave it, you know, the south window. And within months of me actually providing it with proper care, it blessed me with some beautiful flowers, and they definitely lived up to my expectations. They were so beautiful. It actually flowered for me multiple times last year, and I'm really hoping that with the consistent light and everything that I'm giving it, it will flower for me again this year. Yeah, you'll see the flowers on the screen. They're perfect. They're fuzzy, they're pink. I honestly don't know if they had a scent. I don't really remember them having a scent. And I actually forgot to mention, or did I? The David Kamingi that I showed you near the beginning of the video, that one smells like caramel. And that's one of my favorite features about that flower, because if I'm like, you know, sitting on the couch or something, I would get whiffs of caramel, and it was just so nice. So yeah, that was stunning. But this one, I honestly don't know if they had a smell. I'll have to smell them if it flowers for me this year. But yeah, just a really easy care, really hardy Hoya. If you give it highlight, if you give it some warmth, it's definitely going to reward you with flowers, and I think that they are just spectacular. And this is another Hoya that, you know, I'm finding that some of these kind of like plainer foliage Hoyas that people don't necessarily gravitate towards have some really special flowers. So let's not overlook them, everybody. Hoya Whimsical, she's amazing. I actually just sprayed her for mealybugs the other day, and I could see a couple popping up, so I'm gonna have to spray her again. She doesn't care though. I feel like nothing can take her down. But yeah, just such a beautiful one, and super easy. Okay, I guess I saved these heavy ones for last. This is another Wally grow planter. This one actually grows right beside the Whimsical, so literally, oh no, that's not a mealy, I thought it was. Yeah, this is my this is my Aschkenanthus Thai radicans, commonly known as the Thai pink lipstick plant, right? Yes. And this plant has some of the most stunning flowers, and she's actually in bloom for us right now, which is really special because I used to have a massive one of these, and she gave me a bunch of flowers, and that's when I fell in love with her. But it started having a really hard time. I ended up taking cuttings and starting this plant over from cuttings, and I thought that I wasn't gonna get any flowers this year because it's kind of getting reestablished, but she's in bloom for us right now. Oh, let me find a better way to show you here. The leaves do get knocked off of this plant really easily, so you have to be careful when handling her. But they look like this. They're a beautiful soft pink color. And I think that's why a lot of people like this one, because I feel like a lot of times in houseplants, if it's a pink flower, it's like dark or bright, like a hot pink. But this one is just a beautiful soft pink. Let me try to show you with it just hanging. It's a beautiful soft pink. I'll put other footage on the screen as well, but it is really cool. There's a couple down there that aren't open yet. Oh my gosh, this is so heavy. I've got to put her down. But it's just really beautiful having that pop of pink, and this was incredible when it was a big, lush, full plant and just covered in the pink flowers. So I'm really hoping that that is going to be what the future of this plant looks like. It is spitting out a lot of new foliage growth from the top here. So it will grow out from the top, and then it will bloom at the bottom of the vines. For the most part. And yeah, I mean, even the foliage I like on this plant. I find that it has, this one's kind of hard to tell because it's so, you know, there's not very many strands here, but I really like the growth pattern. It has a really kind of like organized look to it. Like if you look at the leaves, they just look really nice. So yeah, I love this one. And one of the things that I was struggling with, okay, I have to put it down, I'm sorry. One of the things that I was struggling with when I was growing it in my window last year is that the leaves, like I said, I love just like the growth pattern of it, but what was happening is that all the leaves were turning to face outside the window, so I was just seeing the back of them, and that's why I chose it to go on the wall in the bedroom and have the light shining down onto it from the track light, because now the leaves are all facing out, which is really just more visually appealing. So I'm really excited for that plant to continue to fill out. It is one that you have to be on top of the watering. I find it to be really thirsty and it will drop leaves. It is like, I don't think I would say it's a difficult care plant, but it's not very forgiving if you're not on top of it. Very fast growing though. Very, I have a cutting rooting of it right now. I usually just propagate them in water. I don't know if this has any roots yet. Oh shoot, spilling the water everywhere. No. Oh yeah, it has one, I think, just starting at that node. You're probably not gonna be able to see. But yeah, I usually just take a cutting like this, pop it in water, and be patient. I don't know why this looks so cloudy. Oh, I know why. Because I sprayed this with my Safers yesterday and then filled the water, so I bet you that this is just cloudy from like the Safer spray getting in there. Anyways, it's definitely my favorite lipstick plant available that I know of, at least. I think that they're gorgeous, and yeah. All right, so I guess that brings us to the end of this video. I hope that y'all enjoyed. I know that a lot of you were saying you really liked the topic focused videos and, you know, having some shorter videos thrown in here, so this is for y'all. Other than that, yeah, I guess that's it. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate y'all. Really appreciate all the kind comments that you leave, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye. Oh, let me know what your favorite flowering plant is. Leave it down below in the comments, because I would love to look it up and potentially add it to my wish list.